Welcome to the Adrenal Fatigue Podcast with your hosts, Danielle Zeese and Angela Rocchio. Balancing your hormones and overcoming adrenal issues can feel really complicated. Our mission is to break it all down in a simple way and offer you realistic solutions so you can get back to living the vibrant life that you deserve.
Hey, hello everybody. It's Angela here, and today it's just me, myself, and I. And I'm talking about the 6 tips on how to have a crash-free holiday season. And I'm really excited because I know this time can be challenging. As for many people can be challenging, but when you have adrenal fatigue and hormonal imbalance, of course, you're dealing with the symptoms, the exhaustion, the lack of sleep that just makes it all a little bit harder. So what magic can we create today on this call that'll help you prepare you for the next couple of weeks, as well as prepare you for a totally different reality in 2020? That's what I want for you. So what would it look like to thrive this holiday season? I want you to just tap into that question for a moment. What would it take for you to thrive this holiday season? And I'm here to share tips, but you also have so much knowing inside of you. So I want you to tap into that and just see what starts to come up and show up for you. Maybe you can even do some journaling later about that. Okay, so let's dive into these tips, okay? Number 1 is to give yourself permission to be a little stressed here and there. This holiday season will most likely be a roller coaster ride. There will be some ups and there will be some downs. And what if you could enjoy all of it? I'm going to give you some support on the downs, so just wait a moment. But it will be a roller coaster ride with the different people, the different obligations and expectations. So, how do you prepare for those? So let's talk about that for a minute. I want you to give yourself permission also to feel the feelings. So a tip I have for you with that is to, when you feel really stressed, when you feel the constriction in your body or the revved up feeling in your belly that just like you can't slow down because there's just so much to do, I want you to just voice it out loud. Oh my gosh, I'm feeling so stressed. It's amazing what happens when we say things out loud. And we start to just also, one of the most important things about that is acknowledgement. We are acknowledging the feelings. And then when we acknowledge it, there's actually some type of the energy starts to dissipate. And the more you practice this, the more you'll see it for yourself. So, if the kids are around and, you might have to scream or go into a room and scream or cry and just be with the feelings for a minute. Don't try to force it too much to change it, but just acknowledge it. And then maybe do, one of my breaths that I love to do is just kind of an anti-anxiety or an anxiety releasing breath, which is I think of just kind of feeling the feelings. Inhale, shrug your shoulders up by your ears. And as you exhale, you're just going to open your mouth and sigh. And let the stress flow from your shoulders all the way down your body through your feet and back into the earth. It also helps you stay grounded, which when we're grounded, it's a little bit harder to get kind of wrecked or kind of distracted. When we're grounded, we can really honor what we need in the moment. So that's really cool. So again, that first one, tip number 1, is to give yourself permission to feel the feelings and give yourself permission to know that it's going to be a roller coaster ride. So let's talk about how we're actually going to prepare for that, how that's going to actually look like in real life, okay? So that first one is just sort of almost like an umbrella thought. And then these next couple, tip number 2 is to prioritize, okay? Because there's so many pressures out there from Pinterest and social media around the holidays. There's also expectations and obligations around family and who you must see and what's tradition and all of that. And I want you to really, there's a couple things we want to think about. It's like, what do you actually enjoy about the holidays? What traditions do you want to carry on? And which ones don't really matter as much to you? This is your life. And just because your mom and their mom's mom, had this tradition, and you're a totally different person with different dreams and different things that bring you joy. So what if you didn't have to do all the things? If you don't like doing the crafty things, don't do them. If you have kids who love crafts, then maybe do one, or I signed my kid up for an art class, a holiday craft art class, because I know that's not really my thing. I love doing lots of other things with my son, and I'll do some crafts with him now and then, but it's not one of my favorite things at this point. I wouldn't say it comes naturally to me. I'm not one of those kind of crafty moms. So I don't judge myself about that anymore. And I'm just like, okay, that's just not who I am. What other fun things can I do? Well, I really enjoy, getting a tree, and we actually cut one down in our front yard this year. And I enjoy getting the tree and putting the ornaments on the tree, and listening to some really cool holiday music. I like a lot of old school holiday music. So though that is very nostalgic for me and brings back good memories of the holidays. So bringing in more of those things that bring you joy. This is about joy. Plus, good thing about joy to remember is that when we are doing something we enjoy, and when we are in that state of joy, we are able to release the hormone that's opposite to cortisol, or stress hormone, and that is oxytocin. So the more that you can be in a place of joy this holiday season, the less stress you're going to have on the adrenals. So what are some things that you're going to let go of that maybe aren't really you and they're somebody else, traditions that have been projected onto you? And I just want you to really be in your own power with that and play with that a little bit. And, if you end up loving doing the things that you grew up doing and that your mom or dad or aunt or whatever, that's awesome. And that's, it's just giving you another way of looking at this, is you don't have to do all the things. Okay. So even meal prepping and how can you, if you're hosting, maybe you can, have more of a potluck style and ask people to bring things, right? That's pretty typical these days, but, don't feel obligated to do it all. And then, really prioritizing, just making sure that you are making the holiday season your own, and you're maybe creating new traditions in your family. If you have a family at this point, if you have, children or a partner, you're creating traditions that you enjoy. And that would be my suggestion. Okay. So tip number 3 is this idea of proper planning and conserving your energy. So what does this actually look like? We know energy is a big part of the game with adrenal fatigue. A lot of us don't have the energy that we would like to have. And so we need to understand that often the obligations, the stress of the holidays, right, and other people are going to be sucking our energy. So here are a few ideas. I want you to think of things that really drain you during the holiday season, and what are the things that really fill you up? And I want you to do more of the things that fill you up and less of the things that drain you. So what does that even look like, Angela, you're asking? So maybe that's, doing less of the cooking and delegating. Maybe that means, if family is challenging for you, you might just not go at all. Or you might go for a couple of hours and limit that time. So, maybe it's even talking to the family beforehand, saying, I'm just going to come by for a couple hours, or this year I'm only going to come for, 2 days versus, the full week. I just need to take care of myself. I want you to really, be in your own power. Know that you have a choice. You always have a choice. So choose for you. So this can also look like, so we're coupling. We're coupling something that drains you and fills your cup at the same time. So we're going to make those either the same day or back to back. Or let's say you're going to be going to the big family event on Christmas Day. Well, maybe Christmas Eve, and then on the 26th, you're doing like a prep day, and then you're doing like a coming down, maybe resting the day after. So this could, maybe you want to gift yourself, or you want to ask someone else to gift you some body work or massage for the day after. Maybe Christmas Eve, you are prepping by really just doing something for you, taking a bath, just listening to holiday music and hanging out in the house. And like, maybe you're making food if that's what you enjoy doing, or maybe you're maybe you're having a bath. Maybe you're binge watching your favorite series, or you're watching some Christmas movies all day, or holiday movies that just are going to bring you joy and keep it really light. And then what I really recommend is grounding yourself before you go somewhere. So I always liked exercises of grounding for your feet, taking a few deep breaths. I have some wonderful meditations as part of the album that I created, Chaos to Calm, and that you can find that on our website. Or of course, there's lots of guided meditations out there and apps, so there are lots of other options, but I do have meditations that are particular to adrenal fatigue sufferers. So if you're interested, go check that out. So again, you're going to plan, you're really going to take care of yourself the day before, and you're really going to get in your power before you go to this event. And you're also going to just limit your time with certain people maybe at the event. And the day after, you're taking care of yourself and having a rest day in between. Yeah, so that's what I'm going to say about that. So that's number 3. Number 4 is surrounding yourself with people who support you. So this can look a lot like number 3, but I wanted to bring special attention to it. So who are the people in your life who love and accept you? Those are the people you want to spend more time with. And the people that are maybe toxic and drain you, maybe you hang out with them a lot less. So for me, it might be, going, instead of going somewhere and spending a week at someone's house, like your relative's house, you would normally go there. And for years, you've gone there and you spent a full week or 5 days. You might just make that 2 or 1, or not go at all. And because again, this is about you. This is your life. This is your health. And what's more important, having a crash or taking care of your body and staying healthy, or trying to meet everybody else's expectations. Remembering when you surround yourself with the people that you feel are judging you and you feel like are toxic. Also remember that I want you to just be in your power as much as possible when you're with them, because a lot of times this is about, like, anybody that's judging you, that's like their problem. It's like their thing. It's not yours. Judgment is like, we feel that energy, that we can tell when we're being judged, and so I just want you to remember that that's their problem. And so what if you could just be like, okay, they're totally judging me, and be okay with it, because they're not necessarily probably not going to stop judging you, but it's about how do you react to it, and what would it take for you actually not to feel triggered by their judgment? How cool would that be? What else is possible there? Okay, so that's number 4. Number 5 is BYOF, bring your own food. Now, if you're like me, my whole life I've had to bring my own food. At 15, I was a vegetarian for over a decade, starting at age 15. And that was like, even when these, diets and stuff and keto and all these different things weren't even popular. So like, people didn't have all these restrictions. Like, it was a different time then. That was in 95. That was a long time ago. And so, and then I became, then I got super sick and I had adrenal fatigue, stage 3. And then I went to like eating meat and not eating gluten and dairy. So like my whole life I haven't eaten what most people eat. I've had a lot of limitations, and it's easy to feel deprived around the holidays. So I want you to think about bringing your own food. So what are your favorite things to eat during the holidays? Make sure you have those things that you love, and there's so many recipes out there to make them in a way that's going to actually work for you. Tons of recipes, that whether you're keto or dairy-free or gluten-free or vegan, there are tons of recipes. One of my favorite pies is a gluten-free pie with like these ginger snap crust and then the coconut milk instead of regular milk inside the pie. I mean, it's a pumpkin pie. It's delicious, and it's actually better than, for me, like a real pumpkin pie. Anyway, going off on a little tangent there, but what I'm saying is, if you know you love dessert and you know you're not going to be able to eat anyone else's dessert, then make your own. So prepare well for that. The other thing I want to say about this is you might feel like, I want to just have a splurge day. Maybe, Christmas Day and New Year's Eve are the days that you want to splurge, let's say. And I give you I just want to give you permission if you need a little support from someone who's been through this, is like, I didn't do a lot of cheating when I was in it, I have to admit, but if you feel like that's something you'd like to try, I also didn't have the mindset that I do now. What if you could shift your mindset if you do decide to splurge, please do yourself a favor and at least enjoy it, and don't be in judgment the whole time you're eating, because that's causing you stress. And that's going to bring all your blood to your extremities, right? The stress, that's what the stress response does. It brings all the blood to your extremities and it keeps you from digesting. And then the other part is that digesting and then resting, excuse me. That's really what happens in the stress response, is that that we're basically, everything is flowing to our extremities. And so that's why the parasympathetic nervous system, when you trigger that, the rest and digest state, that's what it's called. It helps us rest. It helps us digest. So if you're going to eat the things, number one, don't judge yourself. Number two, take some big, deep breaths and just let go. Prepare yourself to digest properly. And maybe even ask some cool questions or have affirmations. Like, what would it take for me to completely, what would it take for this food to digest perfectly? What would it take for my gut to be able to totally handle this food without having a setback or a crash? What would that even look like or feel like? So plant the seed, my friend. And if you're going to splurge, enjoy it and try to, the best you can, let go of any guilt or judgment you have about it, because that is going to create more stress and more setback issues, or more pressure towards maybe having a setback than anything else. I guarantee. Okay, so what else I want to say about bring your own food? I think that was it. Okay, the last one has a little bit to do with this, and that's to bring your supplements and bring your own enzymes. So if you know that, you have gut issues, eating things, you have a lot of sensitivities, this is just very common with this condition, hormonal imbalance and adrenal fatigue. You're often dealing with gut issues. And it can be a very root issue. So I want you to, if you don't have digestive enzymes, think about getting them or looking into them. If something that digests, all three food groups, carbs, proteins, and fats, there's different enzymes that break each of those down. So you want to make sure you have a digestive enzymes that includes all of those, or maybe even just particularly the one that you had the harder time digesting. Sometimes it's people put protein, sometimes it's fats. It's just different. So think about getting enzymes and bringing them with you. Also, don't forget your supplements. A lot of times people are traveling, they don't want to carry the supplements, but this is the time when you need them the most. So if you can, that would be awesome. If you can bring them and have your enzymes in your purse or your bag, so they're always available. And if nothing else, if you're going to splurge, like we talked about in tip number 5, or even just if you're going to be eating foods you're probably not used to, even if you do make your own food, is having digestive enzymes available. I'm sorry, but if you don't have them available, you typically take enzymes like right when you're about to eat the food. Same thing, you can just have lemon water. Just bring some lemons, or basically just having some lemon water before you eat will help. And really a lot of times, we're with our clients, we should be doing the lemon water like every day, first thing in the morning. So I really recommend doing that, every day. every day normally, but especially this holiday season, don't forget, because it's easy to forget, right? When you're traveling, you don't have all the stuff, or you have house guests, things are you're out of your routine. So that would be my recommendation. And then the last little bonus tip is just to really think about how you might be able to get the best sleep that you can. And that is really about coming down after in the evenings, giving yourself that time to come down. So guided meditations are great, breathing techniques. We have a lot of them. I've created some on our YouTube channel or on our blog. And that's one of the best things you can do for yourself, is to take the time, even though it's hard, to come down in the evening so you can prepare for a rest-filled sleep. Okay? So, and then just, asking yourself, what kind of holiday season am I looking to create? And going into it with a positive mindset. Like, what would it take for this to be the most joy-filled holiday ever? So that feels pretty fun and light. So playing with that question, maybe every morning, what would it take for this to be the best holiday season I've had in a long time? Do the best you can to stay in your joy and stay in your power. You got this. I know you can do it. Reach out to us for support. If you don't have a lot of support in your home, then make our community your support system. We're here for you. Our free Facebook group. And we'd love to support you. We also want to make sure you know about our Fatigue to Fabulous program. A Fatigue to Fabulous program, we are changing things up a little bit, and we are offering Fatigue to Fabulous for just $527 by January 3rd. It's never going to be this price again, because we're going to be shifting how the program is and adding a lot of different components to it. But it already has so much to offer, and weekly coaching, weekly support from our team of health professionals who are naturopathic doctors, nutritionists, health coaches, yoga teachers, all the above. So giving you a holistic approach to overcoming adrenal fatigue with the support and extra, and also access to professional testing. If you decide you'd like to get tested, then we do have that option if you want to sort of upgrade to that level. But these weekly support calls are amazing to kind of get all of your questions answered with clarity so you can keep moving forward. So we are excited to offer that one last time at the amazing price of $527. And if you don't have $527 up front, we even have a payment plan. So go ahead and check that out. We'll leave the link in the show notes for you. And much love to you. Bye for now. Happy holidays, and make it an awesome, joy-filled, crash-free holiday season. Bye for now.
Thank you so very much for tuning in to this episode of the Adrenal Fatigue Podcast. If you liked what you heard, please leave us a review on iTunes, and don't forget to subscribe. And if you know someone who's struggling and could use some support with balancing their hormones and overcoming adrenal fatigue once and for all, please share this podcast with them. You can visit us at www.healyouradrenalfatigue.com to learn more about us and our adrenal fatigue recovery revolution.